Welcome everyone. This is Michelle Alpha Pescosolido, and we have about, it's top of the hour now. I was going to say we have about 1 minute to go. While everybody's coming in on the line, please, if you can hear me okay, I always like to do the checks. Raise your hand if you can hear me okay. Great, great, super. And then also if you can see my screen, raise your hand for me. Good deal. I'm really excited about tonight's webinar. It's 7 o'clock now. Why don't you, while I get some things started here and tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing tonight, type in the box, let me know what city and state you're calling from. I'd love to know. Let's see. Great. Somebody doesn't see my screen. There we go. Everybody raised their hand and said they could see my screen. That was awesome. So I'm assuming now you guys can see my screen. All right. Super, super. I appreciate it. All right. So great. We've got somebody calling from... Wow, I don't even know where that is. Oslo, State College, Pennsylvania. Nice. Welcome, Tim. And we got Angel here. Welcome. Gloria from Virginia. Welcome. I'm excited. And Shelly from Phoenix. I bet you're getting some nice weather now there in Phoenix, I'm hearing. Welcome. Welcome, George and Kevin and Earl and Bill. This is awesome. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get this call started. One of the reasons why I felt so passionate about doing this with Ray tonight is, you see, when I first started out, and I don't want to say network marketing necessarily, but when I dove into doing online marketing, I used to think about how I was going to close all these deals every single week into my business, but I knew I had to have some sort of system in place, and so I spent a lot of time trying to get all this perfect system in place. And when I finally got that in place, it's like I all of a sudden hit this wall and went, oh my God, I'm starting to generate leads. What do I do now? I don't even know how to talk to these people on the phone. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to close them. So a lot of people, I feel, don't realize that early on when they're working towards a business to where they're generating leads. And then when they finally get those leads in, I don't think a lot of people have thought early on that they've actually got to get on the phone now and close these people. And so that's something early on I had to learn. I had to perfect a system or perfect my way of getting on the phone with people and learn how to effectively close people without getting on a call and trying to just spill out my business, my opportunity, what it is I was selling, whatever it was. I had to back up and learn some skills and back up and learn how to listen and how to ask questions. And, Ray... I will say this, guys, if you don't know Ray, he is probably the best person, I would say, in the industry when it comes to closing. And I've talked to a lot of guys out there, women too, but I've just connected with Ray. When he talks and he, talks about how to close, I get objections sometimes on the phone and I'll throw it at Ray. And when he talks about what to say in his response, it just sinks in. It sinks in. So I want you guys to really pay close attention tonight. Now, you may have heard Ray talk about prospecting and closing before, but I promise you this is going to be a little bit different kind of webinar, and we have something at the end, a bonus that I want you guys to stick around for. I don't think I should have to entice you to stay around because you are going to learn so much tonight. I'm excited about it, and one of the things that I feel is, from coaching a lot of people over the past couple of weeks, I've been showing people how to generate leads all day long and get their business, but now they're getting those leads and they're asking, oh my gosh, what do I say to them on the phone? So I'm excited to have Ray on the call tonight. I'm going to pull him out right now. I got a lot of hands up, so Ray, if you'll re-raise your hand here. There he is, and I'll go ahead and unmute him. Sorry about the background noise there. Ray, are you there? I don't have the Rangers game going on in the background. I had to kind of quit watching that. I don't know the result of what's happened, but all I know is if we would have won tonight, if we may have, I don't know, nobody tell me, we would have been going to the World Series. But it's funny, I figured I better quit watching it because we were losing, because I want to bring in my A game here tonight and the energy so all you guys can learn from us tonight, and especially you, Ray. I mean, you're amazing when it comes to this. So I can pass this over to you also. Let's see, Ray. There we go. Get the screen to you. You got it? I certainly can. Yeah, did I give the proper introduction? If you guys don't know, I work with Ray. Back in August, I was in a position where I had to go out and, decide on a lower ticket, I shouldn't say low ticket, but an MLM business that I knew that I could apply my skills and my strategies to. And I did my research. And when I found you, Ray, I knew you recruit like I do, and you support your team like I do, and that's who I wanted to work with, is somebody who actually works with their team the way that I do and believes in the same kind of principles in building a massive team. So I'm excited to have you on tonight. So I'll let you take it away.
I've had the pleasure to help a lot of people already, but I know that we can help so many more people, and I'm just so excited to be here to be able to do that. And so in the last 24 months, I've sponsored over 200 plus in my primary. That's at a $500 plus level. Over 400 into MLSP. I have won 7 fully paid for vacations, a brand new car, $100,000 car. I am the #1 income earner in my primary company. I did hit L5 and MLSP, and I've been an EMT member, I think, for the last year, maybe year and a half. I'm not sure. Was a speaker at No Excuses. I met several of you out there, and also I'm be a speaker at Live the Dream. I'm excited for that here next week. My God, it's really snuck up on us. Was on the cover of What's Working Now, Better Networker, paid cash for my 10-day honeymoon in Fiji that's coming up in next month. And most importantly, no longer have to stress for money. Now, 25 months ago, I was in personal foreclosure. And that's what's crazy about all this stuff. And so I'm here to tell you that if you are going through tough times, if you are not in an ideal situation or you have tough circumstances right now, you can go out there and within the next 24 months accomplish some crazy things if you just set your mind to it. If you would have told me any one of these bullets, any one of them, 2 years ago, I would have said, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. 2 years ago, I absolutely had nothing going on. I had my girlfriend at the time was working at Nordstrom at the makeup counter to cover my utility bills because I couldn't pay any of my other bills. But you have to pay for electric, right? you gotta keep the AC on here in hot Florida, and that's what's crazy. So if you're going through a tough time, keep going. Know that there is hope for you. Know that you can have the amazing successes. You can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish if you just put your mind to it and you tool up. Tool up, that's what I did. I studied very, very hard. I applied that studying, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Now, none of those things, not one of them, would not have been a speaker, would not have become the top income earner, would not have become an L5, unless I cracked the code of becoming a master sponsoring machine. And that's my mission, is to help so many other people become sponsor machines so that they can achieve all those dreams that they want. And so MLSP asked me, this was probably about a year ago, and I didn't actually put it together until extremely recently, but MLSP asked me to put together a series on sponsoring to help anyone in any company with the most profit-producing activity, and that is recruiting or sponsoring. They asked me to put that together. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into and dip into some of what I cover in those 4 different areas. Now, what you're going to walk away with tonight is you are going to walk away with tactics that you can use immediately. You can absolutely use them immediately. And I'm going to share with you a few different things that I've used to help me become a sponsor machine, and how you can too. Now, here's a painful reality. Most people spend their time frustrated. Staring at the screen, hoping for something to work out, maybe checking your watch to see if a lead's going to come in. But most people spend their time frustrated. Most people spend all their time trying to get leads and traffic. If an email comes through and it promises leads or traffic, we're on it. We're on that webinar. We're reading that ebook. We're buying that thing. whatever it is. But here's the problem. Even with getting leads, getting traffic, even when a good prospect shows up, they either think about it or they don't even return our calls, right? And, marketing experts that can't close, they also don't make any money. And I'll tell you that there's a lot of people in social media. There's a lot of people in different realms. Maybe you've seen them write a lot of articles. Maybe they have a great blog. But they're making more videos than they are money. Okay? So being a marketing expert is okay, but the bottom line is if you want to change your lifestyle, if you want to have the life of your dreams, you have to be able to close the business. You have to be able to get people into your business, whatever that business may be. Now, when we're talking about time, this is something that you can never get back. If you can't close, you could be in this industry for years before you make any money. And, I know I have, and you probably have as well, spent thousands of dollars on things that didn't bring a profit. When I first started, I went the same traffic leads, and that wasn't the profit-producing things that I should have really focused on. And if you think about this, if you can't close, you have to get 10 to 100 times more leads and spend 10 to 100 times more hours to get the exact same results. Do you know if you're a good closer, you only have to get on the phone a few times a day. And that's reality. And, Michelle on the line here, she's one of the best closers in the industry as well. And I can guarantee you, she can get on the phone with a whole lot fewer people than what someone who can't close has to even get one sale. I've seen it time in and time out. And, it's embarrassing. When I was, by the way, before I was the number one income earner in my current company, I had failed in 11 different network marketing companies. I completely failed. And what stunk is when I went back through my warm market, through my friends, through the people that I knew or had an association with, and I talked to them about my new company, I had people say, well, how long is that one going to last, Ray? Because they'd seen me fail at all these other things. And until I learned how to close, I could not change that paradigm. Couldn't change it. And so, it also sucks. I talk to so many people where they're hearing it from their spouse. They're hearing how, is this one going to work? Is this one going to make you $1 million? And it just sucks. It's a crappy environment. And I'm just curious. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Maybe raise a hand if you know what I'm talking about, these different scenarios of the tough times that people go through. Right.
Can you see those hands, Ray?
That's what happens.
Ray, can you see them? I don't know if you can see those hands. Okay, I want to make sure. Go ahead.
I'm glad that I can. I'm glad that I'm speaking to the right audience.
Good.
Because I want to end all that. My goal is to end. Why should we be so frustrated in a business that really it can be simple? It can be absolutely simple if you're postured and you know what to say. It's not a stressful business. It doesn't have to be as frustrating as we make it. And so that's what I'm going to talk about. So tonight I'm going to cover some snippets from my 4-part series. So please turn off the TV, turn off the Rangers game, turn off Skype, turn off cell phone, get a pad and paper, because I'm going to give you some things that you can apply right now in your business, no matter what your business is. No matter if your product is a $3,000 product, a $10,000 product, whether it's a $200 product, whatever that is, you're going to be able to walk away tonight with some tactics, with a formula that you can start closing more business into your primary company. And so, number one, I want to talk about mastering questions. And this is something I pulled from Module 1. That's why I number them these ways. But questions, they make your life much easier and they put you in control. Too often, a new network marketer is struggling with, what do I say? What do I say? What's the perfect line? Well, you know what? If you just have a set of questions, and if you just have a set of questions that you can just ask the prospect, get them to talk, then you know exactly where they are. You know exactly how to lead them to the next step. Sponsoring, it's just a sequence. You can walk them through the sequence if you know what's going on. And so I'm going to give you some good stuff here. Learn to use questions versus try to memorize or try to be a super salesman, right? If you don't know what the other person wants, it's very difficult to sell them. That would be like, someone standing in the front of Walmart, and when someone walks in, they say, "Hey, would you like some blue paint?" And the person like, "No," right? You wouldn't just start offering random stuff to them. "Hey, you want a Snickers bar?" Right? No. What is it that they want? And so this is one of the most powerful questions that you can use, whether you're online or offline. Check this out. Would you be open to exploring a side project if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? Now, here's the key. If someone responds positive to that, don't be the rookie network marketer that goes into your pitch. Ask them why. Why? Why would you be open to a side project? Why would you be open? Right? And let them talk. They're going to tell you. And by the way, making money, I need to make some money, that is not enough of an answer. You got to dig a little bit deeper. You got to ask them why. Get them to say, if they say money, say, what would you do with the money? You see, money is not the right answer. No one can actually do anything with money. All right? That's not the final answer. What are they going to do with that money? Okay? Not just make money, not just stack it up in your bank account. What are you going to do with that money? Find out. You see, these are things that rookie network marketers just never do. And by the way, there's so many people that even when they get leads, they don't know how to get past the defenses of the lead. And so in Module 1, I actually give you a drop-dead simple question to ask any lead that will get them to open up to you versus be defensive. So many times when you call a lead, and, maybe raise your hand if you've ever called a lead and you got the impression that they were being defensive. Has anyone ever seen that? Ever had that happen? And you think, well, this person opted in, or this person asked for more information. Why are they being defensive? Well, the reason that they're being defensive is that you're not approaching them the right way. It's not as simple as saying, hey, you opted in, and can I help you? It's not that simple. You have to get them to open up and get past their defenses, and I teach you that in Module 1. Now, daily routine and objection handling. Does anybody ever feel like you're working your butt off, but you're not making any progress? You ever feel like that? I talk to some people, and they're working so darn hard. They're working way harder than I am, but they're just not making any money. They're not making any progress. They don't see themselves, moving toward their goals. It's like they're just spinning their wheels, right? What if you just had a simple to-do list that if you check that off every single day, you know that you would have success? Well, if you follow, I have a step-by-step daily routine in Module number 2, that if you follow that routine, okay, if you follow it, now anything you do above and beyond that routine, and let me give you some examples. I know some people, they're on every single webinar. I know some people that they read every single ebook, they buy every product, they go to every event, but they're just not having success. And it comes down to, if you had a checklist, do this, do this, do this, do this, and you fulfilled that every single day, if you checked it off your little list every single day, you would be guaranteed to have success. And I cover that in Module number 2. Now, let me give you some sample objections. And this is one of my favorites. And Michelle, let me ask you this. Michelle, do you ever get this type of question?
How much did you earn your first month? Can you hear me okay? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I get that. Yeah, definitely, but not all the time, but I definitely get that.
Yeah, and I think, I coach a lot of network marketers, and that's sometimes a tough question for them to answer, because the reality is, a lot of times in our first month, we didn't make that much, right?
Right.
But here's the perfect way to handle that objection. This is the objection that will make them curious, that will make them more interested. It may even take someone from trying to steal your power to all of a sudden wanting to listen to you. Are you ready for this? This is how you answer it. Well, I don't know, because I haven't finished collecting it all yet. You see, I get paid residual income in this business, and I'm still earning money for my efforts for my very first month. See, that's an awesome, awesome answer. And that makes people, when people think, they think, well, I'm not getting paid off my first month in my job, or my first month as a salesperson. And it gets them interested. All of a sudden, you've given them a paradigm shift, so they're looking at you a little bit differently. Very powerful. Now, in area number 3, I talk about the Insta mirror. Now, the Insta mirror is awesome. And here's what's cool. Some people, maybe you've heard of mirroring and matching and that kind of stuff. And some people, they get a little concerned with, if I do that, are they going to be able to know that I'm doing these things? Well, I teach the Insta mirror, and that is you are unable to be detected, and you build instant rapport with people, even if they're opposite from you, even if they're in a bad mood, even no matter where they are, no matter what they're thinking, no matter what mood they're in, no matter what zodiac sign they are. When you develop the skills of an Insta mirror, you build instant rapport with people. Now, I even teach, and I'm going to give a little disclaimer here, right? I even teach you how to be an Insta mirror through email. Now, that does not mean that you should try sponsoring everyone through email. Okay, I'm not saying that. But I want to ask this question, okay? And only the people on here that actually prospect will get what I'm saying here. But let me ask this question. Have you ever been on Facebook and you're talking to somebody and you try to get them to give you their number, or you give them your number, but you just never hear back from them? Anyone ever have that? Ever have that happen? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Why is that? Why is it that you can have a little conversation and all of a sudden they skip town because you asked to get them on the phone? Right? Well, when you're an Insta mirror, they're going to gladly give you that phone number. They're going to get on the phone with you because they like you. And that's whether they're opposite from you. It doesn't matter. That's what the Insta mirror teaches. This one little tactic will increase your prospecting by like 70%. Because if you can't get on the phone with people, if they just won't respond to you, you're not going to sponsor them. You absolutely will not. I know some people that are constantly trying to sponsor people by sending links through Facebook. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. But I teach you how to build rapport, then get them on the phone, and then what to say then. Now, I want to talk a little bit about test closing. This is probably the least used tactic in closing period. But it's so powerful. And you know what's cool about this is it's actually safe. You see, I'm not going to teach you tactics that are difficult or make you uncomfortable, or are weird. Okay? I'm going to teach you tactics that actually make you more comfortable. They actually work with your personality. They work with whoever you talk to. And let me give you some examples. So if I'm talking to somebody and they say, and I figure out their why. If I say, hey, just curious, just throwing it out there, but would you be open to a side project that didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? And they say, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe. I say, well, why? Why would you be open to it? And they say, well, you know what, I need to make money. Well, I'm going to dig deep. I'm going to say, well, money, what would you do with the money? If you had money right now, what would you do with it? What do you need what do you need the money for? And they tell me, well, you know what, Ray, I got, my kids are going to a private school and they just upped the tuition and I got to come up with some money. Well, I might ask them, well, okay, is that something that's an option to you? Or is that something that you actually, you have to cover, you have to do something about? I got to do something about it. Well, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to raise the money? You know what, Ray, I'm really not sure. Well, if I had a way, and I could show you a side project that didn't interfere with what you're currently doing, and it would help you make some money. In your opinion, do you feel that would help you pay for that tuition? Would you see that? That absolutely does. They have to say yes to that, right? What would that be worth to you? What would it be worth to you to take the stress of why you need that money? What if that stress just went away? And see, these are powerful questions you could be asking your prospect. Raise your hand if you're starting to see maybe prospecting and sponsoring in a little bit different light. Does this kind of open up? Say, whoa, wait a minute. You see what I'm doing here? I'm controlling the conversation. So many times as a network marketing rep, you're just the punching bag. You're the punching bag, and you're trying to come up with objections and handle these objections and rebuttals. But what if you controlled the conversation? What if you controlled every conversation?
Just do it work.
What would that be worth to you? Now, when someone tells me, When someone tells me that, you know what, Ray, this would really, I mean, man, you know, if you could show me how to make some extra money that could cover those bills, that could, you know, help me get out of debt, that could help me do this.
She works every day on the weekends.
So much to me.
And she just...
Well, I'll ask. I'll anchor them down. I'll get them to tell me how much that really means. Are you just saying that? Or do you really believe that? Again, controlling of the conversation. Then how about this?
All right.
Now, this is a great question. This is a whole series of questions after someone has seen a presentation. Ask them this. If you were to join now, what would be the best benefit to you joining? Think about that. How powerful. This one slide right here, this little slide right here will increase your closing rate by so much. It really will. If you were to join now, what would be the best benefit to you joining? Very powerful. Now, objection handling. There are some companies, actually almost every company has product-specific objections. And you know what? It seems like there's an endless supply of product-specific objections, right? Or comp plan objections. Company-specific objections, I should say. Now, you can't always think on your feet and say the right thing. How many people out there have you gotten off the phone with a prospect and then thought of the right answer? Does that ever happen?
Oh, yeah.
That happens to most people. Most people, they can't think immediately of the perfect answer. But what if you had a universal objection handling method that was like your favorite play in a coach's playbook that you could always use? You could always fall back on it. No matter what their objection was, you could always fall back to a formulaic objection handling method. What if you could do that? Well, you can. I actually covered this in module number 4. What do you say that isn't corny about the pyramid question? How do I use the takeaway close on people trying to put me in the opportunity down? I cover that in module number 4. Now, Michelle, I know that you have absolutely packed the lines here, and I know that there's a lot of people on this webinar, but the reality is, and you know this, Michelle, let me just ask you this. Do you ever see people in this industry and you see what their actions are and what they actually do, and do you ever kind of wonder how serious they are about their business?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you see people that, you know, they show up on webinars, they study, they do their thing, but they don't really take their business that seriously.
Right. And they think they are. But, yeah, I mean, the reality is what you're about to talk about. Exactly.
Yeah. And so I know that there's a few people on here. Now, what I'm covering tonight will help every single person on this webinar. But a few of you are really going to take this information and create a $10,000 plus a month income with it. Most may not even care about this, okay? Most may be on here just because they're on every webinar, okay? But I want you to understand that if you want to get to the next level, you're going to have to grow your personal team and have that ability to train your team. You understand that when you learn how to sponsor, you also become a better trainer. You also become a better upline. You also become a better coach. You know, you always want to ask yourself, would you sign up with you? Well, if you were a sponsor machine, of course you would, because you would be able to train other people. And that's very powerful. So the act of learning sponsoring is the most profitable thing you can do for not only you, but also for your team. Imagine if you no longer had to prospect and all you had to do was schedule 3-way calls with your team. And you were such a good recruiter that all you would do is pick up the phone, say a 5 to 10 minute little conversation, and boom, help that teammate hit the next ring. Help that teammate win that cruise. Help that teammate win another accolade, right? That's why it's so powerful, so much to understand. And so before I move on, because I got a lot more content to cover, do you think, I'm just curious, and Michelle, you can actually see the hands, but does anyone on here feel they can already apply some of what I talked about here tonight to get more signups?
Oh, there I was. Put the hands down, and they came flying back up. And you know, Ray. One thing I want to say. I know you're blowing and going here, and it's awesome. But even on that last slide a second ago, I do personally know some of these people on this line, and some of you guys, I know you through my list or you've emailed me. But what I know that a lot of these guys, maybe quite a few, let's just put it that way, have everything in place. And this, what you're teaching tonight, is the golden nugget of what's missing to get more signups. I mean, it really is. So I hope everybody's really listening to this.
And that's a great point. It really is. Because I'll tell you that the difference between the Rainmaker and the person that is making very little money or even no money is actually very minute. It's a very small difference between the person that just wins every contest, that just makes it happen, that gets asked to speak at events, that gets asked. There's a very little difference. Very little. And I want to ask, because I know that we have people in different companies, and Michelle, maybe you can help me out with this. What would an additional 2 signups per month mean to you income-wise? At your highest level, whatever company you're in, what would 2 additional signups every single month mean to you income-wise? What would that mean?
You want them to answer that for me in the question box?
Yeah. I'd like to hear some.
Yeah, guys, go ahead and answer. What would an additional 2 signups per month mean to you guys? Oh, we got one of them, 2,400. Another one, 50,000.
50,000?
Yeah, I don't know if that's month or maybe just per year. I don't know.
That guy's selling franchises, I think.
That's awesome. Yeah. Some people are saying they don't even know what that would mean.
Oh, well, now that's a bad thing.
Uh-oh.
You should know your comp plan. You should know how much you would make. Okay, so you don't have to know the comp plan inside now, but you should definitely know how much, how much an individual sells.
Here's a good one. Major self-confidence. I love that.
Nice.
6,000 at the top level. Go ahead.
And think about that, because that's a great point. It's a great point. If you, month in, month out, signed up an additional 2 people than you are, now, that would be a huge confidence boost. And you know what happens when you have a confidence boost? You sign even more people. See, the reality is when you get good at sponsoring, you can't stop at an additional 2 signups a month. But even that, sometimes, the reason I ask it this way is that I know some people may not be able to visualize. They can't even fathom sponsoring 10 to 20 people a month. They can't fathom. But the reality is, you get an additional 2 signups, you're going to have more confidence. You're not going to take that crap on the phone, right? When that person is trying to steal your power, you're not going to take it. You're not going to take it at all. And so what I've been doing so far, and I have a lot more tactics that I'm going to teach here, I've been pulling these from my Master Sponsoring series. If you would like to get the entire course, it's a 4-module course, and you feel it will help, you can get it at malpha.mysponsorsecrets.com. Now, I want to share with you something. I want to share with you here. This is what the page looks like. When you go there, you do have to enter your name, email. If you do enter your phone number, I bet you will get a call from Miss Michelle. She'll probably give you a call there. And am I right, Michelle?
Yeah, I love talking to my leads now, and it's only because I've overcome this. Yeah, I love it. It's a challenge. Cool. It's fun.
Now, on the next page, when you opt in, you're going to be given the option to get all 4 modules for 50% off at $147. Now, people have asked me, because they heard that I'm doing this webinar with you, Michelle, and people ask, like, Ray, what's up with all these, webinars that you're doing? And the reality is, we got Live the Dream right around the corner, and I'm trying to get as many people into this product at 50% off before that event happens. And so I'm trying to help you out here. Now, once you add it to cart and you do buy it, once you're inside, you have instant access to my 4 different modules. Okay, you're going to be able to watch those. And I even have a formula for you that I'm going to share with you, because I don't think you should watch them once. I don't. I think you should watch them in a systematic way. And by the way, make sure you watch them in order, because I put them together in a very specific order. And so I want to share with you. Now, I have a couple guys on here. Actually, I think I have 3 or 4 different testimonials of people that have bought the product. They went through it. I want to read. This is from my man, JP, out in California. I'm happy to report that I've been using your techniques for sponsoring since the webinar series, and my business has tripled since then. I started paying close attention to the mechanics of how I was communicating with people and by using these new skills, I found that I was able to shift the focus off of me. Okay, sometimes as a new network marketer, we're so worried about us. Oh my God, am I going to say something wrong? But see, he shifted the focus. And now I probe into the wants, needs, desires, and challenges of my prospect, which helps me build instant rapport. Plus, I'm just way more comfortable and relaxed, which makes it a fun business now. What if when you were on the phone, it was actually fun? What if it was like a game? What if you were comfortable and relaxed? Do you think that you would get more signups? Of course you would. Absolutely. Here's another one. This is one of my favorites. My man Jonathan, we're always tweeting back and forth. Great guy. I've got one word for Ray Higdon sponsoring recruiting webinar series: results. You know what I'm saying? I don't want someone to say, Ray, that was awesome. Ray, I really loved it. It was fantastic. I want to hear the word results. Isn't that what you want? Aren't you tired of buying this lead and this traffic and this, whatever product and not getting results? You may think it's awesome. It may be great information, but we really need results. So listen to this. I've personally sponsored 8 people in my primary company in the last 2 weeks as a result of the techniques from this course. I've also rocketed to the top 20 of my company out of 60,000 reps. And then he gives me a virtual man hug. So just awesome. Way to go, Jonathan. I'm so glad you used the right word, and that's results, because that's what you actually want. And so let me dip back into module number 1. I'm going to pull some more back out there. Let's see. Dig for their need, okay? I talked about this a little bit, but money is not the right answer. What would they do with the money? You can ask people this. Now, you can ask people, say, hey, people, especially that's been in network marketing multiple times, hey, there's a reason that you keep coming back to network marketing, and can you share with me what that is? Do you ever feel like you were meant to help other people? Do you ever feel that way? I believe that all of us here in network marketing, we're here for a reason. We're here because we actually want to help people. And let people talk about that. That's pulling on the heartstrings. Let them talk about the real reason why they're attracted to this industry. And repeat that back. You want to repeat back what they're telling you is the reason that they're in this industry and the reason that they're open to a side project. Now, I want to talk about the irresistible challenge. In Module 1, this is awesome, okay? I cover the irresistible challenge. This is a question-based sequence that forces the prospect to agree with and be open to your suggestions like magic. And if you ever fumble for the right thing to say, the irresistible challenge is a go-to that you can use in almost any situation. Now, in module number 2, you ever talk to someone who's failed at MLM in the past, or maybe is recovering from real estate or down economy or just down in the dumps because they've taken it on the chin? You ever talk to people like that? We all do. Well, what do you say to them? Because if they come in with that attitude that woe is me, are they going to build this business? Probably not. They're probably not going to be able to do it or even have the faith that they can do it to even join the business in the first place. Well, I use something called PPR. This is a process that I use called past pain regression. And so in this economy, if you know how to take someone's present pain and set it into the past so they can look at a bright and possible future, then you're going to be able to sponsor more people. In fact, I've taught this to my personal team, and that's why they're breaking the sponsoring records. If you look at, my personal company, we have a cruise contest going on, and right now over 100 people in my team have won that cruise. It's crazy. How is that possible in this kind of economy where so many other network marketers are struggling? Well, it's possible by learning the right techniques and how to talk to people. In module number 3, I talk about online and offline attraction marketing in a little bit different light. Now, the good thing about attraction marketing is you do want to attract people to you. You want to have people searching you out. That's absolutely awesome if you can do that. But it can be distracting. Because if you're not prospecting, if you're not sponsoring people, you're not making money. This is not a popularity contest. This is how are you affecting your bank account, which will then affect your lifestyle. And so if you ever want to do offline, and and I'm not talking the old school way, but actually do it offline and teach your team offline marketing without looking like a cheese ball, right? You ever hope for that? You ever want to do that? Absolutely. And so what I do is I teach offline attraction marketing how to attract your perfect prospects. You ever get on the phone with leads that maybe aren't that great? You ever get on the leads with, they're tire kickers? They're maybe not people that you would be interested in having in your business? Well, this teaches you how to get your perfect prospects. Go ahead, Michelle. Were you trying to say something?
No, I was just giggling at the cheese ball.
It's tough, because offline does work. It absolutely does work, and some people are scared of it. But if you're armed with a way to do it the right way, to get the right people in front of, it actually works very, very well. This has created some of the most duplication in my team of any other tactic out there. And so you ever get the no money objection? Now, I pulled this from out of module number 4.
All the
Only
time.
the very top recruiters can overcome this objection. You ever hear this objection, Michelle?
Oh, all the time.
All the time, right?
Yeah.
Only the very top recruiters can overcome this objection until now. Because the problem, it really isn't
Right.
the lack of money. It isn't.
No.
It's the posturing of the rep combined with the focus of the prospect. What are they focused on? And how are you postured to lead them to the next thing that they should focus on? You change their focus and you'll give them the money that they have. So when they say no money, just know they're lying to you. They absolutely have the money. It's just you don't have the posture and you don't have them focused on the right thing that they should be. So in module number 4, I actually teach you that. Now, this is an awesome, awesome way to handle the money objection. If you had worked out the money, what would have been the biggest factor that helped you come up with the money? Now, think about that. Think about the last person that you were on the phone with, and they said they didn't have the money. What if you had responded with that question right there? Do you think that would have been a little bit different response than what you did give or what they gave you? What would have been the biggest factor that helped you come up with the money? That is such a powerful question right there. Raise your hand if you like that question. Raise your hand if you like that versus what you've been doing in the past.
Yeah, like fumbling and just being like, okay, they don't have money. Now what do I say? I mean, that's what I love about this course, Ray, is even if you guys aren't getting the leads yet and you're thinking, oh, I'm not on the phone yet with anybody, so why do I need this course? You're wrong. I mean, you have got it laid out in this course. My husband has just bought it. I mean, yes, I could teach him all this, but it's much easier for him to have this available and be able just to go to it and read what you're offering as far as the objections and just soak this in. I mean, if you watch this stuff, I'm telling you, you guys are going to become an expert. You're going to be able to overcome these objections, and you're going to be able to close people into your business, and that's the final little triumph that you've got to overcome. When you master that marketing, like you said, Ray, in the beginning, that's not necessarily what it's all about. You can get leads all day long, but you got to be able to close them. That's what puts money into your pocket. And that's why I get so excited about the fact that you've done this, I even asked you early on, Ray, should I buy this? You remember? I mean, early on, it's just something that this is the type of tool, and anybody who is on my list, I'm big at preaching that I never, ever promote anything that I don't use, and I'm all about keeping it simple. And by you offering this course, Ray, this is keeping it simple. So if any one of you people, or any one of you guys on this call tonight, I shouldn't say people, you're all my friends, and I don't want you guys to think or have to go out and just search for all these answers and then just lose it, and forget about it, or keep it on little sheets of paper that you're going to end up losing. It's all right there for you to sign into and go through. And it's going to soak in. And I mean, you can't learn it from anybody better than Ray. That was my soapbox. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
No, thank you. No, I appreciate that. And, I'll be honest, I don't buy everything about, traffic and leads and things. I don't buy everything that I see in that realm, but I do buy everything when it comes to sponsoring. Because, I've spent a lot of money on sponsoring courses just to get one line, to get one different way to look at it, either objection or approaching people, and it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
because this is your highest return on investment of anything you can do. You know, you can get, I know people get tons of leads, they just don't close any, you know? And so this is something, you improve this, all of a sudden you don't have to work as hard. You don't have to get as many leads if you can close them more.
I mean, guys, how much would you pay, guys, to have all those objections? Maybe you're not aware of all the objections yet, but you're going to get it. I mean, how much would you pay seriously to have it right there in front of you and to have the perfect response that you're able to give somebody with confidence? Something different, not the rookie, recruiter like you said in the beginning, Ray. How would you feel?
Right.
I mean, how much would that be worth to you? I would pay an awful lot for that.
Absolutely. And so that little above tactic right there, I do cover in Module 4, along with every other conceivable objection in network marketing. And so I just want to ask, did we get some value tonight? Did you get some enjoyment out of this? Did I teach you a few questions, maybe a few tactics? I certainly hope that I did. Now, I want to share with you some of my costs, to learn this stuff. I hired a coach for $2,000 a month. I'm actually about to hire another coach, and it's going to cost me a little bit more than that. It's going to cost me $15,000, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to absolutely be worth it because it's an investment. You see, any of this kind of stuff is an investment in you and in your business. Now, the return on investment depends on what you actually learn. This teaches you how to create profit, period. Not leads, not traffic, not hopes and wishes, profit. Because the more people you sponsor into your business, the more likely you're going to find that all-star or that stud or that Michelle Alpha out there that's going to blow it up. I know there are people that I've sponsored into my company that have now gone off to build a team of over 500 people. That's awesome. And you don't know. You could have that perfect prospect and fumble around and bumble it and mess it up, and then they go sponsor shopping and go sign with somebody else because you couldn't sponsor them. Very powerful. So I hired a coach, $2,000 a month. Recently, I had a coach for $400 an hour. Rapport building prospect. I've bought any sponsoring product that you have ever seen in network marketing, I've purchased. Even if it was one that not too many people knew about, I bought it. And so there were some things that I still found missing in all of those things. And that's what a lot of the stuff that I put in these 4 different modules. Many, many events, travel expenses, and I've really spent the last 24 months of my life has been dedicated to become a master recruiter because I knew that's what I needed to be if I wanted to reach the very top, which I have. I've reached the #1 income earner in my company because of the sponsoring secrets that I use. Now, you can download me. You can download my head. You can download everything that I know about sponsoring for $147. And that's in video format. You can watch it over and over and over. You're going to get that for $147. And so I just want to ask, sometimes, we have people on the webinar that get excited, that are serious about their business, and they decide to buy. If you do care to share why you bought, just go ahead and you can type it in to go to, and Michelle will see that, and we can maybe bring you out to share. I know some people buy simply to get that routine. I know some people buy simply to take their business to the next level. And, there's a lot of different reasons why people buy. And so if you bought and you have a reason, please type it in and Michelle will pick that up.
Yeah, type in here if you've bought it or if you're looking to buy it tonight and you've gone over there and bought that. If you want to put my, I don't know if you put my link up there a second ago to get through to that, but, guys, let me know. I'll bring you out because here's the deal as I go through these questions to see who's bought. Here's the deal. I mean, you're giving this away for a steal. And just like you said, once you hit Live the Dream, it's the same thing with my course. It's going to go up. And I mean, to be able to get this kind of closing, I mean, to get Ray, like you said, right there in your living room, wherever you have him, to listen to him every day when you are having trouble or you're about to call leads and there's one module in there that you just really resonated with you. You could listen to it real quick and get on the phone and just start recruiting like crazy. So let's see if anybody is looking. Let me see. I've got some questions here, so let's see. Anybody bought yet or is
rejected again? I also talk about money acceptance immersion. Now, that is something that dips into your subconscious. There's a lot of people that self-sabotage themselves. That's why they're not making a lot of money. And in each and every module, I actually have little cool bonuses. Like in module 1, I have vision booking. Bonus number 2, I talk about affirmations and the right way to write them. Module 3, I do talk about the Insta mirror process, the basics of not only persuasion, but mass persuasion. How do you run successful webinars like this? How do you run successful meetings, that get you actual results in mass? And I also teach you some leverage tricks and then talk about visioning. Now, in module number 4, I talk about how to prospect. And if you notice, I don't even talk about prospecting until module number 4. And here's why. Most people, they shouldn't be prospecting because they don't know how to close. Does that make sense? You might be prospecting and running into the perfect person, but if you're unable to close them into your business, does it really matter? Or are you just frustrating yourself? And so I wait until module number 4 because I want you to know how to close before you actually approach people. I want you to know how to close before you even prospect. And so in module 4, I teach you how to prospect properly and use all those closing techniques that we've taught you. Now, I also have a guest trainer on module number 4 that teaches you how to flip people. Have you ever been on Facebook? Have you ever been in a different maybe meeting or an environment or a big workshop, and you're trying to talk to someone about your business, but they're trying to talk to you about theirs. They're trying to pitch you. Well, I actually teach you 3 easy-to-follow steps to flip them and get them to be interested in your business. And that's a guest trainer on there that covers that. Then I go into the test close, and then maybe most importantly, how to build your empire. Now, that's the long-term, I want to build a massive empire that sets my family up for the rest of my life, and that's what I cover in module number 4. And by the way, I want you to follow this order. Now, some people, when they buy the product, they're going to skip right to prospecting or they're going to skip right to objection handling. Don't do that. Cover the things that I cover in order for a reason. Follow the formula. I did everything in order for a reason. So I know you want to get into the no money objection in module number 3. Wait and go through it in the right sequence. It will pay off for you. Don't just whip through the videos and think you have it down. I would suggest plan on rewatching them once a week for at least a month, and then every 6 months for a refresher. It's something that you got to stay on your game when it comes to sponsoring, or else all your lead generation, all your traffic generation is just a waste of time. And this is something that I stand behind it. You will never have to buy another course on sponsoring again. Now, here's the reality. When you are a good sponsoring machine, when you sponsor a lot of people, you see that it's such a good return on investment that you just buy. You buy the courses on sponsoring. This is something that I fully believe. I've downloaded all the information from all the other courses I've ever bought on sponsoring, and I've put it into these 4 modules that you can watch over and over at your convenience. I got a couple more testimonials that I know that we're coming up to the top of the hour here, Michelle, and I'm going to turn it back over to you. But here's
definitely.
Some of you on the line, maybe you're younger, or maybe you have younger people in your team. Well, here's a gentleman, Ron Gielach, 22 years old. I went through Ray Higdon's course on sponsoring, and it was an incredible eye-opener. Not only did I learn what to say to recruit, I learned how and when to say what to which type of person. Once I made a decision to succeed by following what Ray taught me, I've consistently recruited a minimum of 1 person a week. 1 person. Results, right? That's what I love hearing. I don't want to hear, Ray, high five to you because you're awesome. I want to hear results. That's why I put this course together. So 1 person a week, from going from not sponsoring to sponsoring an average and a minimum. He says a minimum of 1 person a week. Confidence is through the roof. My team is duplicating since I've taught them what I learned. Thanks, Ray. You're awesome, Ron. Adam Chandler. Now, some of you, this is the co-creator of Tribal Syndication Domination. The prospecting tips and nuggets I picked up from Ray has been pure gold. Some of the prospecting lessons I've learned from him have helped me to close sales within hours of learning them. Do whatever it takes to get as much training from Ray as possible, because he will help you become a better prospector, a better closer, and a better entrepreneur, period. Awesome, Adam. You are the man. So cool. And so you can get all 4 modules at malpha.mysponsoringsecrets.com. And, Michelle, I just want to, just say thank you to you, and want to roll it back to you. If you have anything that you would like to add to this, I think maybe you do. Maybe you have some yummy bonuses for those that decide to buy tonight or something.
Yeah, no, I do, and I've got some questions that they're asking. They may be on my team or something, and do they buy through, a different link? But if you're on here tonight, buy through this link right here. So hopefully that answers your question right there. And Rick, I would love
and by the way, that includes if you're on my team. If I've personally sponsored you into my primary company or into my Lead System Pro, buy through this link, because I'm doing this. Michelle is one of my absolute all-stars. I get paid no matter where you buy from as far as this product, but I would like you, if you're buying tonight, and if you want Michelle's bonuses, you want to buy through malpha.mysponsoring.secrets.com.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully that answered your question there. And the bonus, we are doing something very special, and I told you guys to stick it out. And I do want to bring somebody on the call in just a second here, but I do want to let you guys know that Ray and I have agreed that after 30 days, after you buy this course tonight, on this, call tonight, we are going to put together a Q&A session webinar for anybody that buys through this link. It's going to be awesome. So you're going to be able to go through that course, and you might be able to, you might come up with some questions along the way, or you might come up with a different kind of objection that maybe, which I highly doubt, that Ray did not cover, but you're going to get the opportunity at the end of 30 days, when we do this webinar, because we've got a lot of things going on. We've got Live the Dream. We've got our company event coming up, or we would do it earlier, but it's going to be about 30 days. And every single one of you, I'm going to have record of that you bought through this. You're going to get a personal invite. It's going to be a private webinar for you guys. And you're going to be able to get on that webinar and get personal coaching, is like what I like to call it, because you're going to be able to ask us questions. And, if any of you guys have been on a Q&A session with me, you get your questions answered. I don't skip over them. I'm not afraid to answer whatever it is you throw out there, because we will get those questions answered for you, because I don't want anybody to walk away tonight, especially after buying this course, to feel like they did not get, even when they go through the course, oh, there's just this one thing I wish I would have known. We want to answer that for you guys. So I want you to feel confident in your purchase tonight. And every single one of you guys, most of you that I do know that I see your names on here, especially the ones I interact with daily, you guys should get this. I mean, I know a lot of you have called me and have asked me, oh, what do I do when I get this person on the phone? This is going to help you. I promise you that. I'm still, will tap into Ray's brain. I'll pick up the phone. Okay, well, what do you think about this? Just to hear, even though I kind of know what to say, I just want to hear what Ray will say. Because he's so quick to the point. He gets to, when he's on a call with people, he gets it done and gets off the phone and closes them. That's what you guys want to go after. You guys don't want to, be in a position where you're pitching your opportunity and you're trying to convince someone. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to do what Ray's doing here, all these things he talked about, and be able to take control of a conversation and be able to close them within a few minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it takes on that phone call right then and there, and have somebody on your team? That's what you're going to get with Ray's course, and I'm 100% confident that every single one of you, even Carrie saying right here, she bought it just for Module 2. I guess she bought the other night, and, Ray, your Module 2. That's the exact reason why she bought. So let's, if Rick's available, I would love to know why Rick's buying. Let's see if this will be fun. Let's get him on the call here. Let's see if I can unmute him. Can you see the attendees, Ray? I don't know, for some reason. You can't, because for some reason I can't unmute Rick. Rick Staler. You can't see anything? That's weird. You still there, Ray? Uh-oh. I'm hoping I didn't just lose audio. Oh, it says connecting to audio. Oh.